And on commodities market space, we are looking at palm oil. The Economist Intelligence Unit recently lowered its forecast for global palm oil consumption by 2% to 76.2 million tons. In spite of this lower forecast, the global price of palm oil has recovered to its April 2020 levels. And looking at the two major companies here in Nigeria that produce this commodity, Presco and Okomo Oil, both have a combined market capitalization of about 118.95 billion naira. That's about 0.92% of the total market capitalization. Now, how have players in this sector fared so far, and what is the outlook for this commodity? Aisa Dahoud, research analyst with financial derivatives company, will answer some of these questions for us. Hello, Aisa. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Chimizi.
So the profit before tax for Presco jumped by about 68% and 94% for Okomo Oil for the half year 2020. Now, their major product is palm oil, which serves as an input for the beverage and affiliated industries. Is this financial performance a testimony to the fact that the CBN intervention programs in support of domestic agriculture is working? And if so, what should we expect in the next quarter?
Okay, so a lot of factors account for this improved financial performance of these companies. CBN intervention programs is one of it. Aside CBN intervention programs, we also have laws that prohibit importation of palm oil into Nigeria, coupled with the current domestic price that is doing very well, which is a mirror image of the prices in the global market. So all this is the major reason why the financial performance of these two companies, we can say that we can say the financial performance of these two companies improving. So if this market characteristics, that is the land border closure, still remains that limits smuggling, the prices continues to go up in the global market and even in the domestic market, and the companies continue to, let's look at Okomo for a deeper dive. Most of Okomo's earnings stemmed from increased domestic sales, which increased by about 76%. That domestic revenue increased by 76% because the smugglers couldn't bring in this palm oil to cater to the large domestic demand that we have in Nigeria. So if all these market characteristics continue to remain, we should also record improved performance results for the next quarter.
Now, EIU recently lowered its forecast for global palm oil consumption by 2%. And in spite of this lower forecast, we saw the global price of palm oil, recover. So how sustainable is this price increase? And if it is sustainable, what will be the impact of this increase on the Nigerian economy by, the first quarter of 2021, especially in the light of the fact that the Nigerian economy is now expected to recover by the second quarter of 2021?
Okay, yes, the EIU lowered the forecast. Let's also note that the pandemic had an initial shock on the supply and demand of a lot of commodities, palm oil being part of it. And, as the supply chain disruption happened and the economy gradually begins to open, a lot of revision is happening. Palm oil is among the commodities that are less vulnerable to this pandemic, to pandemic effect. So if the prices, currently the palm oil in the global market fell to its lowest price in May. That's about $500 and something per ton. Currently, it's improved. The price has improved and it's trading at, physical levels that were recorded in April, like you mentioned. If this market forces are beginning to reassert themselves, that is supply and demand interactions, if they should continue to remain, EIU is forecasting the continuous increase in the price of this palm oil produce, and we should be looking at about $700 per ton towards the end of the period. So the impact now in Nigeria, like you asked, Nigeria is expected to contract, the Nigerian economy is expected to contract by 3 to 5% and recover by Q2 2021, like you mentioned. Let's look at the current situation in Nigeria. Nigerian companies like Okomo, like I mentioned earlier, Okomo and Presco, they've recorded significant increase. And this increase in their earnings stemmed from increase in domestic sales. That is, all these factors put in place, smugglers do not have a way to bring this thing to serve the market, and they're making is making a positive impact on the company. So and agriculture is a very, very big leakage. It's a major catalyst for economic recovery in Nigeria. So
Okay, I said.
if this
Yeah, before I let you go, I said Nigeria remains a fringe player in the global palm oil market because it produces only about 1.64% of the global output of the commodity. But the domestic demand of palm oil is still one of the largest in sub-Saharan Africa. The aggregate demand for this commodity is roughly about 6.6 million metric tons. So how can Nigeria achieve self-sufficiency and ultimately begin to export this commodity?
It's worthy to note that Nigeria used to be a major net exporter of palm oil. Due to our very low investment in research and development and then negligence, over the years, we've turned out to become a major net importer. But we thank God now, currently, we can see a turnaround in the situation. We are on the track towards self-sufficiency. By the time we can see that we have about 35% import tariff for palm oil, coupled with the forest restriction and even the local prohibitions, smugglers are not able to bring this into Nigeria, and we can boost our earnings. It's worth to note that the largest producers in the world, that is Malaysia and Indonesia, they account for 80% of the global output of this commodity. So Nigeria is a fringe player, like you mentioned also. 1% of if two countries are producing 80%, if we aim at what they are doing, Nigeria can be on the track to self-sufficiency and also a net exporter of this commodity.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Aisat Dahoud.